What up, guys? What's up? I hope, how many, why is this not updating? Oh, okay, at least a few of you are on here so far. I know, I was up late too playing futures, and then I had set some stuff up. I woke up to my phone going absolutely insane. For me, it was like, what time was that at? Like 2:30, 3 a.m. for me, so like 4:35. So basically right after futures opened, pre-market opened for most brokerages, East Coast time. So that's why, and we'll go over a lot of this here this morning, but you can kind of see here. So obviously, futures open, we got the big giant dip, and then it just kind of faded, but just kind of sideways. The reason then you get this first little drop here is because if you look at the time right here, 3 a.m. is actually, and I talk about this a lot, guys, where that a lot of the big boys and a lot of the bigger brokerages, the first set where they open for pre-market is 3 a.m. and then almost all of the brokerages are open by 4 a.m. So that's why we see this big sell-off again, this next step down. And then they tried to save it. And I'll show you guys here on some of the FANG stocks. It's actually really interesting because a lot of guys came in trying to buy the dip. And a lot of that's probably the big money trying to prop it up a little bit, trying to maybe fool retail guys into thinking it's going back up so they can, some of their losses wouldn't be quite as big. Then obviously it's just going to continue to sell off here. Now, what's it going to be? So the title of the video, BTD is TBD. Just kind of joking, but kind of serious at the same time because, up until this point, the last, 6 months, anything, not anything this big, obviously. I mean, we're down 3% now. It's over a 100-point move now, 103.25 handles here. So, I mean, it's like 800 plus, almost 900 points in the Dow. But usually this would have been like a buy the dip type of opportunity. Now, something this big, I would have never said that right out of the gates. I don't necessarily think the move is done yet. It's going to be hard to just jump on things. Like, you don't want to just go out of the gate and short it. Because obviously when it's down this much, they're going to do all they can to save it. And it's going to bounce and chop around. This is where things get really tricky. And no matter what you're playing, if we're playing options, if we're playing stock, it doesn't matter. The same technique is going to be the same. Here. Is that I would say size everything down. I know the instinct is to go balls to the wall and stack everything up and think you're going to just hit view. That's not what it is. The thing is the majority of this move is already over, right? But that's kind of a good thing because we needed a reset, and this is a very, very healthy thing. So Warren Buffett was just actually on CNBC all this morning for like 3 hours. It was actually really nice to wake up and watch that, just listening to him because he's been through all of these, right? Like every big crash you can think of, he's been in. And the big thing is, like he said, he's not selling, and that's the same thing across the board for any big smart money. They're not selling at this point. You don't on your first big down day, you don't just sell everything thinking that you're going to save yourself, because you essentially screw yourself, because we all know this is going to bounce back up unless things just completely spiral out of control, which it kind of seems like it when you hear the news last night and everybody's going to be freaking out today, and it seems like the end of the world. Like, honestly, this isn't anything. We knew this. We've been talking about this. We especially went over this several times last week because when Apple came out and then Coca-Cola came out saying that it was going to affect bottom lines, that was a signal for Apple and Coca-Cola to sell. I don't know anybody that bought Coca-Cola shares or was buying calls. No offense, but you're an idiot. Like they came out and told the public that it was going to be absolutely awful. And as we all talked about, basically that means that if they're the first ones to talk about this, it's just about to get uglier. The Fed, even though everybody was thinking how they didn't say anything, this is exactly what I told you guys that I thought was very, very interesting, is that they said that they were ready, that they would be ready. That's not the same thing. That means that they are watching what's going on. Now, do I think they're going to come out today and say, oh, we're going to drop interest rates? Well, maybe, but I highly doubt it. I don't think that's yet. They need longer term movement. What I do think is going to happen today is there is going to be a lot of chop, and there's going to be a lot of pressure to buy. The thing is that we've broken some massively key levels. and it's hard to say because with all the news, if it was just contained into like Asia, even though South Korea came out with horrible news, I don't think it would be as bad. The problem is that now that Italy is absolutely a disaster. They were already a disaster before this. They have had nothing but negative news across the board for the last couple of years, and this last year has been one of the worst I've ever seen for Italy. They have massive issues with immigration, with interest rates. They have one fraud bank after another getting caught, and then it's just pulling down their entire economy. And then for this to happen to them, it's horrible. So then that tied in with Iran and them coming out with reporting, I think it was 11 now deaths and quite a few cases. And so now countries are getting scared, and they're cutting off borders, they're cutting off train routes, and I don't know how many of you know this, but in Europe, trains are everything. It is literally that'd be like closing the interstates all over the United States, right? Like it's very similar for them. So travel bans all over the place. It's kind of what I was talking about with Ryan in Discord last night was the travel bans. I expect to see more and more of them coming out as they try to contain this. And basically, when the WHO came out last week and we watched that, and I went over that in detail, this is exactly what I was talking about when they said that our window of opportunity is very slim, but we have a chance now. Well, that chance, and as I posted just in Discord a little bit earlier, it's gone. Like it's out. We kind of already knew this. It already escaped because they weren't on it right away. And I think in the end of this, I don't know when this will come or when this will happen, but China is probably going to be held at an extremely high rate of they knew about this in December. They didn't come out for like almost a month and say anything to anyone. There were stories leaking out, but everybody it's so hard to tell China because of how they run things. It was really hard to see the writing on the wall. But yeah, they'd known about this in December. And so for them to hold it back like that while people were continuing to travel by boats and airplanes and trains and just spreading it all over the world, this is exactly like in all those zombie movies, for real. Like this is what happens when they try to cover things up and they just kind of let it fall out. So a lot of things around the market that I'm watching, so gold is up over 2% this morning. Silver's up at 1.24%. Obviously, you can see ES is down over 3%. NASDAQ is down well over 3%. Let's take a look at, I wanted to show you guys this in the FANG just because it's kind of interesting to see. We'll go over the future stuff in a minute. So look at this in futures, or in the FANG, sorry. Like Netflix. So here's the gap down. People were already out right away, right in pre-market, trying to buy this up. Look at this. This is absolutely insane to me. I did not expect to see them coming in so fast. But you can see they're already trying to buy the dip up in here. They were doing the same thing in Google. It's just it's kind of all over the place. Because again, this is institutional money. This is not most retail traders. So that's what you can kind of see. But however, and then you look at Microsoft and the complete opposite. It gapped down. It was kind of bought up, and then it just plummeted once again. So it's very interesting the names that are moving up and buying the dip and that aren't. So Apple is kind of similar to Google, where it's kind of just all over. It was just interesting that Netflix was trying to be bought up. Amazon trying to go up just a little bit, but Microsoft just absolutely going down, and Facebook kind of similar. So this will be something we'll keep an eye on this morning, especially out of the gate, kind of see where these FANG stocks are going to go this morning. It will be very interesting to see what is bought up and what's not. So looking at these futures, the banks are going to come out very, very weak this morning. I mean, they're already down right now at 29.77. I expect this to fade much, much bigger than this. Oil is down significantly after a horrible couple of weeks ago. It had a horrible week, and then had a nice week last week, getting bought back up over the 50. Well, now we're down almost 5%. We're down at 4.72% at 50.86. So it's just barely hanging in there right now, and we're just hitting new low days as I talk. VVIX is accelerating quite a bit already. I expect this to significantly increase. The VIX is already up to 23.92. It is up 40% this morning, you guys. So those calls on the VIX last week that I went over and over again and kept trying to push how much how cheap they were, and how important I thought it was to even get a couple. If you even bought one, they were 90 cents for 2 days in a row, and I kept pushing them. They were 90 cents. They are over $7 this morning, you guys. That's just it's that same lesson we keep trying to push over and over. You can see gold here hit a high of 1691.70. It's sitting at 1684.40. It's still up 2.16%. The Nasdaq is down 3.5%, down 326.50 handles. Bonds and 10 years obviously are skyrocketing. Up super huge for a morning. So that's definitely going to be something I'll be watching to see if we can get any divergence or any sell off on that, to see if they want to come down. There is a bit of other news we will get into here. Obviously, there are some earnings that, really the big news everybody's going to be pushing is this, right? It's going to be all over. It's all we're going to hear. Let me look through. I do have some other notes here for some rest of the stuff around the market. Give me 1 second here. So Berkshire Hathaway, new operating profit dropped by 23%. But surging stock prices for its holdings like Apple led to a record year. Like I said, Buffett was a guest for all 3 hours of this morning on Squawk Box. It was actually very interesting. I may go over some of that stuff more detail later. The Wells Fargo thing back in the news again for paying the $3 billion to settle fraudulent sales practices. The bank also said it would continue to cooperate with any ongoing investigations, which I think mostly is kind of done. Goldman Sachs, the whole issue in Malaysia, the guys pleaded not guilty to misleading investors for the $6.5 billion in bond state-run fund. That was the thing I was talking about last week. Not that it matters here. Pepsi and Snack Giant agreed to buy China snack maker Bee and Cherry. Beyond Meat in the news and Impossible Meats have a new plant-based burger challenge. Privately held Cargill, which plans to launch its own plant-based patties in April. So there's some competition coming into the market for Beyond Meat. Obviously not something super huge to watch today, but we'll definitely watch this as it kind of on goes. Intuit, ticker symbol INTU. Intuit is near a deal to buy privately held credit monitoring firm Credit Karma for about $7 billion in cash and stock. I think that'll be something to watch because that may be a big drop from them at first because of the money they're spending, but that will be a massive acquisition for them. Credit Karma has absolutely surged as far as a private held company goes. That's pretty big. What else? Keurig Dr. Pepper, which the ticker symbol for that is KDP. Morgan Stanley upgraded the stock to equal weight from underweight following significant underperformance relative to peers like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. The firm said valuation now better reflects the company's growth. Okay, so the big thing out right here is the one I wanted to get to was Aurora Cannabis and Tilray. So ACB and TLRY. Now, RY. This goes for all of the cannabis sector. I think this is something we're going to be watching. I think this is going to come into play this summer. Cohen downgraded the cannabis stocks to market perform from outperform due to its increasingly cautious outlook for cannabis sales in Canada. So they're basically saying that the headwinds that the industry is facing, they're not fading as previously anticipated. So CGC especially remains its only outperform rated stock among all cannabis producers. So that is something I think that obviously today we know where the news is going to be all over, but I think going down the road, cannabis stocks I think are going to be a great opportunity for shorting, and then I would say to start picking up shares when they get really cheap. And obviously I'll talk more about this as we get there, but I think that's something we'll have to see as we get closer to that time period. So bell is just about to open here, guys. It's going to be very interesting to see how low this thing can actually open this morning. We haven't seen a day like this in a while. So if you, and like I was just talking with Darth, you guys in Discord, if you do get into anything, just reduce size a little bit here. You don't need to go balls to the wall. This is very dangerous conditions. So here we go. All right. Market is opening at 32.30.25. I expect some nasty down. Here we go. 32.30. God, 108. Wow, this is crazy. I still have one of my ME or ES shorts. There we go. So negative 14.39. Not as bad as I thought, but not good by any means. Not at all. Yeah, pretty strong negative ticks here. Negative 997. Breadth isn't so bad, actually. I was expecting this breadth indicator to actually start a little bit lower than that, so that's not too bad. So they might try to bounce this around a little bit here this morning. That's going to be most interesting for sure. So keep an eye on that. Let's see here. I'm going to check around, see what's going on. So ad decline is continuing to fall. We are going to get a little bit of a bounce here. Yeah, over 900 points on the Dow. Jeez. Let's see what these contracts netted here. So 6,350%, 7,500%. Holy crap. Awesome. Awesome. Jeez. It can't even compute. It's taking so long for it to compute. It's like confused. You know what's surprising though is watching this, the spreads are actually not as bad as I thought they were going to be. They're actually moving quite consistently. Let's see here. I want to see. I'm going to hold on to this VIX for just a second. I expect some volatility, and like I was just saying, guys, spikeage. Yeah, because this is going to be moving up and down all crazy. So let's see where these are at. So 1864. Wait. That's not right. 341%. 1,800%. So those VIX calls are up at 1,854%. Nice. Sorry, I'm trying to. There's obviously people freaking out, and I'm trying to read all this stuff. So yeah, I'm expecting this. Yeah, they're gonna try to buy this up as much as possible. We're gonna see this moving up quite a bit, probably. Okay. Wow, that is absolutely insane. I wonder what I can get some of these VIX puts for next week. Oh, they're still pretty expensive. The spreads are huge. Huh. Never mind. Those are all over the place right now. It's going to take a minute for that to. So the spreads are going to be kind of crazy and a lot of stuff, you guys. So just be careful because, but at the same time, that's a good thing because, sort of, if you can get really low on. Sorry. Wow. Whoa. If you can get more towards the bid price, they might actually be able to hit because if they're spread out so far like some of these are, they're tightening up as we go here. They're getting a little bit more efficient, but that's definitely something to keep an eye on. So, but that's what I'll be watching, seeing if I can't move these. Wow, these are not coming down on the calls though. I'm really surprised how expensive these are. That's interesting. I wonder why. Well, I made my week in, what is it? 5 minutes. Sweet. Yeah, but this is how I got ahead last year too. Was that I had a few days like this, you guys, where it wasn't that I had a huge year all the year. It comes in waves. Like you get chances, and when you got chances, that's when you got to swing. And you'll know once you get more experience under your belt. It's like when it's time to swing. But even like right now, this isn't a time to swing to me. This is a time to play extremely smart. Nice. Spartacus killing it. The only nice thing is now for me, for my weekly goal, is that since I've made that, I don't want to give that back, right? So now I can actually relax a little bit on contracts. I can pull back. I can play a little bit more guarded, play a little bit smarter, move things around, play a little bit longer durations, blah blah blah. All those things that we'll get a lot more into, especially when we get into guys that want to take our education stuff. That is something that we get into a lot of, is that like the worst thing, and it's one of the most common things that people do, is that they get in and they make their week or they make their day or make their month or whatever, and then they just keep going balls to the wall and just keep throwing money, and they end up giving it all back. So many times I've seen a guy having a wonderful day, super excited, gets all a little bit overexcited, and literally the next day turns back and gives it all back. And it's just that is the worst feeling, and I've been there before too, and it sucks. Well, I mean, the worst feeling is when you have like a fantastic, like no red days, like you have like a green month, a green 2 months I've had, and then all of a sudden for like a week, 10 days straight, it's just nothing but losses. That'll kill your confidence faster than anything, and that's dangerous because then you start revenge trading. God, it's like I have every single news thing open, and it's just every single one. Yeah, and I guarantee the trolls are going to be out strong today on social media. Guarantee it. It's going to be really, really annoying. Not looking forward to that. So they are in full force trying to buy this up, man. So as the title said, BTD, TBD. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, obviously they're going to try to push this back up. This just easily could be a multi-day move, so it's going to be something tricky to watch. I am going to take a look around, though. I want to see where everything's moving. Let's go ahead and check out futures. So VIX pulling in quite a bit. Was up at 40%. We're down all the way back down now to 31%. Oil hit a low of 50.73. It is starting to push back up. It's already over the $51 mark. Gold coming down a little bit here this morning. Also bonds and 10 years starting to pull back just a little bit. We are over or below the 3% mark on ES. That's good. Just about under 3% on the NASDAQ. So they are trying to buy up everything we can see so far. Let's take a look at the FANG stock. So everything, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and Microsoft all being bought up. So they are in buying the dip here. So they are trying to push these all back up. So a lot of these, it's going to be very interesting to see on some of the technical aspects, like on some of these, the big ones, the 200s, the 50 MAs, and then up to like our tradables, which we trade on our system is 30 and 14. Be interesting to see where we end the day later today. Boeing is down 3.2%. Roku down 4.3%. Activision down 2%. Shopify, very, very big move this morning, down 6.2%, but it is being bought up as well. Nvidia just held on to that lower Celt and the 30 MA there support, so that was strong support. It was brought under that, but that was pre-market, so it is already pushing up, but it's still down 6% here this morning. And Tesla down 5.2%, but again, also holding on to that middle Celt strong support there. Baba down 3.4%, but being bought up. Bidu down 2.8%, also being bought up. AMD down a whopping 8.3% this morning. Qualcomm down 4.3%. Disney down 3.9%, being bought up. McDonald's with a nice strong move here. It was down 1.2% now. It had hit a low of 210.11. So some decent good moves here on these dip buying. So I think if this continues to move up, I mean, they're going to have it. Now you can see these pre-market levels, guys. This is why right here, this was a level. Here's a level. Here's another pre-market level. Here's a level. So these pre-market levels will come into play very strong today. Some of these are longer, term levels that we've had for a while, but a lot of these it doesn't really matter right now. This is all dependent on these levels in here and what they can push these up. It's going to be a lot of panic selling, which I think has probably already happened. There'll be a little more as people catch on. People are checking things throughout the day, but I think as far as any of the big nosedives, probably somewhat over. It'll definitely depend on what other news comes out later today, tonight, into tomorrow, as far as if we see this like a 2, 3, 4 day move, a week-long decline. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I kind of think it might just be a couple days and then it'll start bidding back up. But again, it could get really ugly really quick as more numbers come out. So that's something we're going to watch here. I need 2 seconds. I got to grab some more coffee. It's just right behind me. I can hear it beeping. Hold on. Well, that was weird. I don't know what I did, but the first cup of coffee was way stronger than this one. This one tastes good, but I was so tired this morning. I was up. God, we were all up so late last night. Let's see. So I played futures till... I'm in Mountain Time, by the way. So let me think. I set a lot of alerts and stuff, but I was so worried that it was going to get bought up again. But I think I had 3 handles on the ES that I bought right before close on Friday. I held on to them as they were winning, and I took the risk of it opening higher, but the price action was already showing on Friday that it was going down. There's a lot of other reasons that I'll get into more later, but so I took the risk. Here's the thing. I knew if we had a down move, it was going to be big. If we had an up move, even if it gapped up, it was not going to be very big. That's just the nature of a bull rally, how it works. And just something you kind of get a feel for as you play it more and more and more. So I took that risk knowing, that if it gaps up, it probably most likely would fade off a little bit, and I would get out for maybe a smaller loss. But I knew if it went down, it was going to be big. None of us expected this. So then Sunday, it gapped pretty big, right, last night, and I sold one right away. Not right away, but like within the first, I think, hour. And then I held on to the 2. I sold one on the second dip, and then I still held on to the one until this morning. So I was up, I think, until I want to say my time 1, so 2, 3, so 3 a.m. And then pre-market opened, and then I woke up to my alarms going off when the second round of pre-market opened at 4:35. And then I fell back asleep for an hour, and then got up and started on my normal pre-market, but just so tired, but so excited with the gains. But it's kind of like a weighing, what's good and what's not. But yeah, so had a good night. Great closing for this morning. That's why I'm probably going to take it a little bit easier this morning on some of this. Don't want to get caught with my pants down, essentially, is what I'm saying. I keep seeing all these things pop up, and a bunch of other people on social media talking about rate cuts. They're not going to come out on day one and say rate cuts. Like, I don't know why people. It's just weird. I mean, it was a big drop, but I mean, we're already up to 2.5%. I mean, we've already moved up. I mean, huge. I mean, this would have been a huge move any other day. I mean, we hit a low of what, 32.29.50. We're already up to 32.53.54. I mean, come on. And that was why I was saying to sell those. That's why I sold those VIX right away. That's why I got rid of those SPX puts. Like, you just don't hold on to this stuff, guys. Oh, he did? Did he? Good. See, that's Theo Trade. Those are my dudes. So that's why I like Theo Trade a lot. Like, I feel like the way they trade, and especially because they're like the four main guys, it's kind of like how we are. Because like Don Kaufman, he was never a technical guy. He hated technical analysis. Like, his whole career, he never believed in it until he met Doc, and that's like what he is like famous for. So it's cool to see like a group that like literally were nothing like each other that formed one of the best, if not in my opinion, by far the best options group in the world. It's cool that they were so different from each other. And it always makes me feel really good when I see that, like, I'm on the same page as them. So that's cool to see. Oh, Ryan taking a trade on SPY. Be careful, man. 328. Obviously, you're probably... What's your expiration day? Today's? Okay. Obviously, you're just trying to catch something in it. I understand. I mean, it's pushing up pretty good already. 35 cents though. Wow, that's crazy. That's good. That's a good price. I mean, obviously I could see why, but still, it's not that far off really. I mean, I would probably shoot for like $1 if you can get that out of it. Just telling you. And I'm not sure if anybody showed you or talked to you about it, but you should definitely learn how to set your order in right away. I never just leave it open. The moment I buy anything or sell anything, I set a closing order almost immediately, and there's a lot of reasons why. Yeah, Song Shadow, Dead Cat Bounce, we're going lower, man. It sure feels like it, huh? I mean, I figured this would happen, but I just don't see this being done yet. No, more like a profit target. Like you can set your closing order so that it has a possibility of just hitting. And sometimes I'll set them up a little high, and you believe it or not, sometimes it'll hit. Like say on this one, you just set it as $1, but maybe that the high you ever see today is 90 cents. If you're trying to like close that at that time, you're not probably going to even get that 90 cents. But for some reason, if you set your limit orders in, it sometimes will hit because of the spreads and because of the way that it works. It's hard to explain, but it works better. 90% of the time, it works better. I get a better price if I just set it in there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff bouncing around. Let's go ahead and actually look at things because this is kind of crazy right now. Yeah, it is interesting. It's hard to explain. And some of the video stuff we'll come out with, we will explain like how that works, and it is weird though, because I've gotten better prices than you'll even see at the end of the day, like on the chart. It's weird. It's hard to explain. So it's kind of funny that Netflix was the strongest seemingly pre-market, and now it's like the weakest. Apple actually moving up pretty strong here, as well as Microsoft. So my money was put anywhere. I'd say Apple, Microsoft, but again, I don't know. There's so much resistance now, and so many people are going to be panic selling throughout the day. Because I mean, as you got to think, most of these people probably aren't even awake yet. Yeah, Activision just ripping up. That is crazy. Shopify pushing up really strong too, and Nvidia. Shopify pushed right through that lower celt, so it's got a bit of resistance overhead, but it's still looking pretty good. Activision is at a critical level here. If it can push through this middle celt, there's no reason it can't get back up to $64 this morning. I mean, that's nuts. It's only down 1% now. That is absolutely insane. Yeah. I think that Netflix trade is a great trade, man, because it was getting bought up pre-market, and now it's by far one of the weakest fangs this morning. So now that's a good trade for sure. BTD getting bought up too pretty strong here. This is crazy. McDonald's as well, but it did bounce right. It's not being able to close up over that lower Celt, so that'll be interesting to watch. So much resistance above here. Yeah, that's a good target, Ryan. Great job. Yep, the trolls are out in force. Wow. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see where some of the I'm really curious about this Beyond thing with that news coming out. That'll be definitely something I want to watch. I just want to short Beyond all the time. I have a vengeance against them. I got blown through shorting them when they were on their way up, and then I made a ton because I just turned around. And that's the thing you guys got to remember. There's no right or wrong. It's all about making money. Just because you have a bias one direction or because you hate a company doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's many of these companies I despise, and I'm not going to get into that's politics, right? But I don't like them, but they make me a lot of money, so I don't really care about what they do or don't do. I'll play them up or down. It doesn't matter. I mean, like Tesla. I actually believe in Tesla. Like, as far as I think it's a great idea and it's a good company. I think there's a lot of things they do wrong, but I don't care. I'll short the hell out of them if I have to, and I'll buy them up too. Yeah, I agree, man. I think they're an amazing thing that could actually change the world, but at the same time, I have no problem shorting them. But there's nothing worse than a trader who has an agenda and was too proud to change their direction, and who can't admit that they're wrong and make money. That doesn't make any sense. The whole point of being in the market is self-preservation. Like you have to be able to play this game for a long time, or you're not going to win. That's just how it works. But there's a lot of people, even people that are huge traders, that I can't believe their pride gets in the way, essentially. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how many of these penny stock antiviral companies are up today. Like all their charts look the same this morning. Gilead Science, they're up almost 5% this morning. What was the other one I saw? Oh, it was like NNCV or something like that. This morning on Benzinga, they were up way high. So a bunch of these like antivirals, flu vaccine companies, like all of them up pretty strong this morning. Here we go. So Pfizer's still down a little bit. Merck up. J&J slightly down. Eli Lilly down a little bit. Bristol Myers down. So all the big ones are like down, and then all these little like antivirals are up. It's pretty funny. I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to push out some of these drugs without testing them because they just want to get them out and get this under control. And it's just like, you don't know the side effects yet. Why are you? Yeah, I already know this is going to happen. I've seen this before. I think it was with SARS. Yeah. Man, oil is just, ugh. Oil having a rough day here. Yeah, just remember, Ryan. It may work its way up there. It's just going to take a little bit here. I mean, our ad decline is clear down at, look at that, negative 2306. I mean, that is huge. Nasty breath. Strong tick down, but price is moving up, so that's all that matters, right? Just be careful because it could turn around quick. I do think it may get up here a bit. I think it's going to obviously going to run into some trouble here, but I think midday we might see it, and then a push up this afternoon. I could even see that happening power hour. The thing is, if it was going to sell off drastically more, I think we'd already have seen that. But then it could happen overnight. So holding positions overnight will be a whole other story, and we'll get to that this afternoon. It's like the perfect day for this giant drop down today where I at, because like it's so, the wind is so crazy and it's all storming. Like I can hear all these noises. It's like the end of the world out there. I'm gonna watch like World War Z or something today after market. Clean my guns, sharpen my knives, and watch World War Z. Yeah, they are battling, dude. They are battling. He's right. So right now, this 32.58 level where they keep battling, and you can see, just like I said, what did I just say this a couple minutes ago? This morning, these pre-market levels. So you can see that was a turning point this morning, and now it's where they're gonna be fighting. So the reason is they've probably got a lot of the big money guys. They probably got their stops set in here. So if it breaks that and closes over that, it's gonna trigger a lot more, right? And then probably the next one. Now I'm sure there's many of them up here. Is Disney moving down? Thanks, Darth. Let me, or moving up, I should say. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that the other way. It can be hard to say all day. Yeah, quite a gap up there. Where's it at? 137.96 or 138 ish, so about $4. Man, AMD just jeez. It's crazy because it's only like a $50 product, so it's crazy how much it can move sometimes. Which, well, I love AMD. I used to play AMD literally daily. That was like my stock for years. I'd play Spy, VIX, and AMD. That was like it for a long time, which was great because I learned it really well. But sorry, I'm watching this analyst talk. Hmm. It's all right. I'm an extremely emotional trader, Ryan. Don't listen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Listen to him. I am serious, though. I am. I talk a lot of shit to myself. It's all right. It's good for me. Keeps my head on. Keeps me level-headed. That's why it's funny because even when I have some of those huge days, it doesn't matter. I could turn around and have like a percentage of that the next day down, and I'll be throwing shit and yelling at myself. It's okay. I'm greedy in the right way. I definitely teach people to not be as emotional as me, but I'm not gonna lie. Keep showing beyond meat on this thing. Are they like trying to? It's weird. Like, why do they care? Walmart up 0.37, which makes sense on some of those staples. See, that's the other thing when they're talking about everybody talking about McDonald's moving down just because of the market. Like I said last week, you gotta remember sometimes things like McDonald's, Walmart, Target, like some of those staples and food, sometimes they move up because risk on, risk off. People still have to eat. Even in a recession, people still have to eat. People still have to shop. So those sometimes are really good plays if you're going up. It's a trickier. How do I explain this? You have to learn because it doesn't always hold true. Like McDonald's obviously didn't hold true, but right now Walmart is up. You have to kind of learn how to choose your battles with that, but that's something that's way more complicated, so I don't really want to confuse anybody. But that is definitely something that we'll get to and we'll show more because it is a great kind of divergent pairs trading type thing. Here's that next leg up here, I think. I'm really surprised though this ad divergence is continuing to make lower lows. When we're at 2308 now, I'm surprised this hasn't turned at all, even with price. Bread just keeps making lower lows too. So that internally, I don't. This is not over. From watching it go like up and down, you mean? What? Why is Benzing alive? I gotcha, man. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of movement this morning. That's what I was saying. Chop is one of the hardest things to watch as a trader because you're just watching your P&L, and that's the other thing is sometimes I recommend people turning off their P&L because that'll just kill you, and usually it'll stop you out of something that you shouldn't be stopping out of. What? Fuck it, I'm in. That's awesome. uh, I like how all these analysts are like, "Oh, just hold your positions. No, it's fine. Don't sell. No, it's fine. 20% down. It's fine. Just hold on." I don't understand what their angle is for that even because I don't know of any time I've ever heard them say sell something. There has to be some reason that like under some sort of weird contract or something. I don't understand. I'll be the first analyst to come out and just sell. Like, it's just, I've never seen one ever in 11 years. I've never seen somebody tell me to sell something. It's weird. Like, they'll have like private analysts that like are on their thing, and they'll say this is a sell, this is a buy, blah blah blah. But like the ones that work for Yahoo, work Benzinga's different. That's why I like Benzinga. But even that work for CNBC, Yahoo, Bloomberg, never once. I don't understand. And Ryan, the whole thing with VWAP on there, make sure that you're lining it up with not just SPY, because SPY doesn't really matter. It matters off of ES. So make sure that it's VWAP with ES as well. Just double check. And on multiple time frames, just double check, triple check. Like, that's why we do that. It should be the same somewhat, but I'm just saying, just make sure you're double checking. It'll be a good habit no matter what. Why does this thing keep coming up? Oh, it's the cannabis conference. That's why. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. I actually wanted to watch this. Is that today? I think it is today. Yeah, see, exactly. That's why it's so tricky to watch. Yeah, ES is under and SPY is over. Granted, they can be traded separately, but... And actually, SPY is slightly off. It's closer now. SPX is closer to ES than it ever has been to. They get off a little bit from like SPY has a dividend, so that happens a few times a year. Okay, so what times does this cannabis conference start? I want to watch this. Benzinga has these cool cannabis conference things a few times a year, and it's actually really interesting. And I think there's supposed to be one today. This doesn't look right. I think this is wrong. Man, the volume on gold this morning is absolutely insane. Yeah, SPC, he was under 30 for like a second. I saw that. That's crazy. They did not want it to be. Yeah, Tesla to go green today. $10 on it. No kidding. Word. Yeah. I haven't got in yet on any shorts on VIX yet, but I'm looking at it too. I've been looking at. I was looking at it pre-market on here. I was talking about some of the prices on it. The spreads are obviously were all over the place, but it's way contracted. They look way better now. I haven't gone long in anything else yet, though. Obviously. I need to open up these strikes a little bit bigger. I need to see some more. Let's see here. Let's go with 20. Shit, screw it. Let's do 30. There we go. So still a $26 expected move in SPX this morning. Wow, the implied volatility is way up, almost 20%. That's crazy. Right? Man, everything is just so scattered. Let's take a look around though. I want to see where everything's moving. I still have not. I've mostly only gotten out of anything. I have not even done anything new today. That's what I'm kind of talking about. I just be very, very cautious. There's nothing wrong with getting into positions. I'm just saying, reduce size. Make sure you're going way, way over and above your normal checklist for plays, guys. Just that's the big thing to this today. So financials are actually starting to bid back up here. They're back over 30 now, so that's great. Sitting around 30.02, 30.03. Oil continuing to push back up. It's still down over 4% though, so keep an eye on that. VIX has retracted quite a bit here, but it's still up at 22.11. Gold down to 1675.50. We did hit that high, like I said, of 1691.70. I'm out of all my gold positions. By the way, full disclosure, 10 years in bonds selling off. NASDAQ pushing up. It's below 3% now, so that's great. The ES is above 2.5%, so it is pushing back up here this morning so far. Let's look at our FANG stocks. So Facebook still down 3.5%. Apple down 3.3%. Amazon down 3.3%. Netflix down 2.2%. Google down 3.46%, and Microsoft down 2.4%. So Netflix and Microsoft kind of leading the way here. Everything else down about 3.5% as far as the FANG stocks go. Boeing continuing to push up here. It is now down only about $9. Roku also pushing up. It broke through, so it's now only down about only I say, but 3.9. So it was down almost like 6%. So that's good that it's pushing up here. Whoa. Oh, the cannabis conference is on. I'll go to that in a second. Activision breaking that middle Celt resistance there, so that is very, very strong of Activision. Shopify, you can kind of see bouncing right off of that 30 MA as resistance, so that is going to be some significant resistance there on Shopify. NVIDIA getting up over one of those critical price levels there, reaching for that middle Celt on the 4-hour. And Tesla breaking above the 14 MA, so it's on its way up to that upper Celt. So it could get back up over $900 this morning. I mean, it's Tesla. We know what it can do now. BABA pushing up as well as BDU. AMD continuing to be bought up here, still down 6.3%. Qualcomm also being bought up here, down about $2.24. Disney is pushing up. Darth had mentioned keep it on watch. I agree. I mean, it is a huge dip for them, but it's got a lot of room back up, which is good as far as resistance goes because there's not much there. And McDonald's breaking through that lower Celt. Going to have a lot of resistance here up above on that middle Celt as well as the 30 MA, and then just right after that is the 14 MA. So quite a bit of resistance up there. But as long as it holds on to this lower Celt, we could see a continued push up by McGD. So keep that on watch. What is Benzinga doing? It's like started to play the cannabis thing and then it just stopped. It's kind of annoying. Huh. Weird. Something's wrong with their live feed. I don't think this is right. Yeah, it's not. Got me all excited, bastards. I'd be super careful adding to anything right now. That's what I was talking about this morning. I've been saying about watching your is reducing size more than anything. And averaging down is okay sometimes, but I never ever will tell somebody to add more to a losing position, especially on a day like today. This thing could just completely bomb. Yeah, so much resistance up here. It's crazy. They're just fighting, and that's what I was saying. These pre-market levels, there's so many of them right in here. This was obvious place for this to stop and fight because you can just see they've been battling it even pre-market all these levels, and that's where this keeps stopping. And now that it's got over the 32.58, now it's this one, this 32.59.50, and you can see it's way significant up here. I mean, it was a pivot point here and here, so this is going to be a lot of resistance. But if they can break this out, definitely could get up into this 32.65 region. But this is going to be a lot of battling for each one of these zones to get out of. Man, when that just drops, it drops, doesn't it? Jeez. And just to point out, we are on the ad decline there that we did put in a low at 23.08, so it is actually just ever so slightly rising off of that low at 22.68. So the low is 23.08. That's significantly low, lower than I've seen in a while. But just wanted to point it out that it is slightly on a rise. But yeah, be careful. And you know what's crazy is looking at the 2 days, we're actually still positive green on the NASDAQ. It's actually up over the last 2 days. S&P is down 3.5% over 2 days, but the NASDAQ is actually up just slightly green on the last 2 days, which is crazy to think.
Just a little bit there, but let's get a longer term perspective, and we're going to take a look at the 3-month candlestick chart. We can see that we've touched support right here, roughly around 32.25. If we go lower, we do have support also at 31.35. So down about 4 or 5% off of the highs right now, and it's looking a little ugly out there, but again, just off the lows. So here's the VIX. Haven't seen a 24 handle in quite some time. We can see this huge pop there, just showing you what kind of fear there is in the market. And also the 10-year T-note yield down 10 basis points. This is an incredible move. Now, we've been targeting 1.25%. That would be a record low. And in fact, we're marching right down to 1.33%, which is the current record low from a couple years ago. Also got to take a look at the U.S. dollar index. So the U.S. dollar not really doing much. We have seen a lot of strength recently. We hit that big down candle on Friday and just kind of settling in that range there, but we don't want to see that go too much higher and put a lot of pressure on global markets. Also, WTI crude is down 4%. Haven't seen a move like this since the Iran disaster in early January, but now we're testing a pretty big support area, 49.5 to 51, and we are bouncing a little bit off that, but down 4%. Really big move there. And then gold futures. Gold is up, marching towards 1,700. We can see it's been up 7 days straight here. Just a huge move in gold. Really hitting that target 1680 was one that we were looking at before. And then we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ, and we're going to see a lot of red today, except for Gilead. We're going to be back in a moment.
Feeling the burn, Senator Bernie Sanders winning in convincing fashion in Nevada's caucuses on Saturday. The first diverse state in the nominating contest. Yahoo Finance's Jessica Smith is in Washington, D.C. with the latest, and diverse is key in this discussion, right?
Right, it is. He had a clear victory in Nevada after a very tight race in Iowa and a tight race in New Hampshire, states that are not as diverse as Nevada. But Sanders really broadened his coalition over the weekend in these caucuses. Entrance polls showed him winning men and women. He won voters under 64, white and Latino voters, and people with college degrees and without college degrees. Former Vice President Joe Biden came in second. That is his best showing to date. And now the other candidates are really trying to slow down Senator Sanders. They're trying to slow his momentum now that he is the clear front runner. Here is former Mayor Pete Buttigieg speaking over the weekend.
I respect my friend Senator Sanders. I believe the ideals he talks about are ideals we all share. But I also believe that the way we will build the movement to defeat Donald Trump is to call people into our tent, not to call them names online.
So Buttigieg, who finished third in Nevada, trying to present himself as the alternative to Senator Sanders. But Sanders, fresh off his victory in Nevada, proposed using his wealth tax to pay for universal child care and universal pre-K today. His plan would provide a minimum of 10 hours of daily child care. He has previously suggested a wealth tax of 1% on households worth $32 million or more. That tax would increase up to 8% on wealth of $10 billion or more. We could hear more about that plan when the candidates get back on the debate stage tomorrow night. Adam and Julie.
Jess, thanks very much. Let's talk about this a bit more here because we are seeing things kind of shake out. Andy, what's your take on that strong showing in Nevada and what it means going forward?
Well, Dick Van Dyke has endorsed him, so Game over. I know. I thought it was interesting.
Is that
Did you see
true?
that? Yeah, Dick Van
He's
Dyke.
like 100 years old.
Dick, he's old, and he says, I'm 20 years older than him, so I don't see age being a problem at all. And then he said, seriously, I hear that old people like myself don't like Bernie, and I want to speak to all of you older people out there and say that I think you should give Bernie a shot. It's actually funny. You should look at it. And I think he means it. In any event, he is sort of more or less the front runner at this point, and that's anathema to many mainstream and certainly more centrist and conservative Democrats. For instance, on Wall Street here in New York City, those people are scared, frankly, of a Bernie Sanders candidacy. And then there's sort of the mean factor thing that Pete Buttigieg is talking about, which is his trolls, his army of trolls on Twitter, which are not unlike Donald Trump's army of trolls on Twitter. And so does Bernie have to get the nomination, does he have to pivot slightly to the center and calm the trolls down or not? And then will Mike Bloomberg come to the rescue of the centrists?
Tom, for Bernie Sanders to enact his policies, he needs control of, if he becomes president, of the U.S. Senate and the House. What are the chances that any of what Bernie Sanders is proposing ever becomes law? Because we had in the last segment, Catherine was saying, hey, Wall Street could get very upset next week if he wins in South Carolina.
Sure. So if you look at the odds in general of him winning the presidency, I looked at William Hill on Sunday night and said Trump was 4-7 and Bernie Sanders was 3-1. So that's how I'm thinking about odds in general of Bernie Sanders being president. Now, as far as some of his policies getting actually enacted, I think you bring up a good point. They would require not only him to win the presidency, but to have control of likely the House and the Senate. And I would say the odds of that are very low.
That said, again, just like you're doing with coronavirus, you look at a potential Bernie Sanders presidency and what it would mean for the companies that you cover. And some of the stuff that you focus on, I mean, you focus on tax policy, which might be a bigger lift, but then you also focus on his emphasis on broadband internet, which might be an easier thing to get through, and its effect on Roku, which is kind of an interesting thing that I wouldn't necessarily think of right away. So you think it'll be a positive?
Sure. So when looking for positive policies that he wants to enact, broadband for all is certainly one of them, and I think that would be wildly beneficial for Roku. Roku's business model, from my vantage point, is primarily to sell advertising when you consume video content on their platform, and secondarily to sell you the devices. At the same time, I think the other opportunity for consumer technology companies is if he succeeds in eliminating college debt. So think about the potential. Now, if you can forget for a minute that it might be higher taxes on business to fund it, but if you think about the potential of unlocking $1.6 trillion of consumer discretionary spending, if you're Amazon and you're Wayfair or you're someone else who could take advantage of that, that would be very powerful.
All right. While the Democrats are in the spotlight here in the United States, President Trump is taking to the international stage. He kicked off a 2-day tour of India with a huge campaign-style rally and announced a new multi-billion-dollar defense deal with India.
I am pleased to announce that tomorrow our representatives will sign deals to sell over $3 billion in the absolute finest state-of-the-art military helicopters and other equipment to the Indian Armed Forces.
So India, obviously a growing ally of the United States, but the key perhaps investors should be paying attention to is the fact that it's going to have the largest middle class. It will surpass China eventually with the size of its middle class. So is this the right move for the United States?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, to the extent that we're still practicing global trade in this globe of ours right now, it's a great thing. And, that population is already exceeded by some measures the population of China. There's tremendous inroads that our companies can make there, although it's not easy to do business in India by many ways of measuring things. He talked about defense. Sadly, that could be a great export to India with the rise of Hindu nationalism that's going on in that country, unfortunate though it is, to my mind. And then finally, just a point about that crowd, a lot of people made fun of the alleged numbers at his inauguration, President Trump. I think there was a legitimate 100,000 people there in that cricket stadium. Well, so is Modi. And so is Modi's ability to get people into the stadium.
Yeah.
So let's not overlook that.
Well, and it's going to be really interesting. I mean, to bring it back to the Democrats for just a moment, as Trump and Modi clearly have some similarities, right?
Yes,
You
they do.
mentioned Hindu nationalism. There are accusations that he's really fanned the flames of that
Yes.
in India, and that has been problematic there because of rioting and because of people being injured.
Persecuting
in many cases.
Muslims.
Exactly. So one wonders if they do form this close trade relationship, what then happens under a future administration? Will they try to be tougher with Modi?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this has always been this strain in U.S. geopolitical relations, which is how much do you push the lever on trade and how much do you push the lever on, say, human rights?
All right, that's enough of that. I can only take so much. I guess at least they're talking about other things other than coronavirus. But when they start talking just about, it's like that's all we're going to hear, right? It's going to be news of coronavirus, elections, not elections. Yeah, so guys, you can see we continue to fight these pre-market levels that we've already set here this morning. So they're going to keep fighting these, and this is expected. It's just going to be chopping, especially as the volume lightens up here. Now we're at hour 1, so we're going to start seeing a lot of this this fighting and this chop continue. If the selling does accelerate, then obviously we're going to break that low and push through. There's a lot of room down. You guys have got to remember that we don't have a lot of area up in here. There's a big amount of room. What's up, Zarkon? Man, I feel like I haven't heard from you in forever. How you been doing? But yeah, like I was saying, so it's one of those things that we got to definitely keep an eye on. Yeah, good. That's good to hear. You been trading it all? Whoa, that was a weird question mark. Sorry. Yeah, good, nice. Yeah, so this isn't too unexpected, you guys. So you can see how hard it is to push up. This is the name of the game, right? It's always harder to push up, and takes longer to go up than down. It's so much faster and so much more accelerated. So that's what I'm saying is we're going to see a lot of that acceleration and then buy up, acceleration and buy up, and it's going to be a lot of chop, especially throughout these lower volume points of the day, like right now. We're after we're now off of hour 1, and I can just see, I'm even looking at so I use what's called a volume. It's a wow, a volume candle chart. So it looks similar to just using a traditional candle chart, but if you've never used one before, the bars will actually get wider or skinnier depending on the volume, and it's just a quick, easy visual for me. So, and I'm sure some of you know that I like that, so I'm just able to look at it, and I can already see that volume is lightened up quite a bit. Pre-market volume obviously is always going to be less, but it was pretty significant this morning because it's sell volume, right? It's panic. So yeah, this is going to be the hard parts to trade are going to be these middle of the day. So you guys just be super, super careful. Watch your positions. Don't overdo it. Like I keep saying, if you're normally, buying 5-6 contracts, buy 2-3 contracts. There's no reason to, yeah. It's sink or swim. Yeah. Here, let me show you real quick. So they look like this. Obviously, they're all pretty much sell bars today, but I believe you change. Here, let's blow this up real quick. What am I doing here? Sorry, jeez. Yeah, right there. So chart type, it's equivolume. Yeah, so the one on the very bottom, that's what I use right there. I couldn't remember where it was. It's been so long. So yeah, when you go into the chart type, go down to the equivolume. I wouldn't use this on all your charts, but it's nice to have I use it on the 4-hour for ES, but I also have one for NASDAQ and gold. But yeah, you can see how with wider volume, so you can see this was a huge down volume day, right? Or a 4-hour section, I should say. And then I'll break it into 15 minutes, hours, and I move it back and forth. But it's nice to be able to visually just look up and see it. Obviously, you're always going to have more on sell volume, but it is good to see, especially see this. But then when you start seeing this go backwards, as these loosen up, that's significant, right? So it's good to be able to watch the the volume contract or expand. So that's why I like seeing it. And it's just a quick visual guide you can kind of look up and see real quick. Mine is up on my upper left monitor. So that way it's everything on the right is for me like active trading. Everything on the left is just I have like YouTube on the bottom left monitor. Upper left monitor is that chart you guys just saw, my main Thinkorswim view. But it's nice to have that chart on the upper left where I just look up and I know it's there. And then I have like my ADS, PD, and then regular ES. You saw them all as I pulled it down, but yeah, check it out, dude. It's cool. It takes a little bit of getting used to, because like you'll still be used to looking at a regular candlestick chart, but eventually like it's a nice quick like, oh, it's because it's weird, because a lot of people, you never experiment with like the different charts. I love area charts for certain things, like I'm sure you've noticed. I use them for ad. I don't use them for a lot of other things. I use them for the VIX and a lot of other volatility, because I like to see how do I explain like that? There's something about these area charts that I like for stuff like this, because when it's just a regular bar chart, yeah, you can see it going up and down, but it's nice to like see how far. I just feel like it's way more visual, where you can see where it came from. And then I like those equivolume charts for like indices, because it's really obvious to see, and you could use it for SPY, would actually be really smart, or QQQ, IWM, any of those ETFs, because you really see how much is moving. And again, you get to see where where it's going, and it's just, I don't know, it's personal preference, but it's crazy how many people never try any of the other types of charts. I mean, I hate like I can't stand like I never say it right. The Heiken or Heike charts. I don't like them. I know what they do, and I know people that use them for like when you trade like pips and stuff. It makes sense, but I don't like the way they look. It's just weird. I mean, there's so many weird little customizable things, but some of them work great, and some of them I think are just, it's kind of confusing. What is she talking about? I had to turn the news down. She was so loud, because they're like in some conference. Wow, Benzinga is going crazy. Yeah, see, that's what we've been saying, what Attic just said, you guys. Lower to go this week, don't buy the dip yet on longer term and less scalping. Exactly. Because I completely agree. I do not see any way this is the low yet. Especially as it tried to push back up. I think, yeah, scalping's one thing, but coronavirus affecting the toy industry. Well, that sucks. Duh. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, I was looking at Take Two this morning, Darth. Actually, your analysis was like freaking nailed it, dude. As usual. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad one to go over today, because that's actually decently priced too. 1 second here. Yeah, if you're ever feeling negative about yourself, Darth, just give Nikki a call. Let's see here. I mean, I used to sell. Take Two was one of those ones that I would sell premium on like religiously. But I feel like it's like, it's $100. What is it up to? Like, well, 114 right now, but like $100 ticker that actually moves. Like, it's just crazy. And this one might be right for my little, might have to look at this one, because this might be perfect for my little RSI thing that I do, because it's one of those ones where it gaps down and then moves back up, and then it'll have another big drop down day. Could actually see this one being perfect. I need to look at it on a longer term, but I hear you, buddy. We were talking about this a minute ago with Ryan was talking about something about or they were telling him not to get emotional, and I was kind of joking, being like, "Oh, don't worry about that. I get extremely emotional. I scream at myself every day." Like, I'm joking, but I'm not really joking. But if we weren't hard on ourselves, we'd be cocky as shit. Especially after a year like last year, dude. It's so bad. It's so dangerous to get cocky. Oh, I see what's wrong with this thing now. Oh, it's so much bigger than... Ah, you sons of bitches. Okay, I gotta fix this. It's gonna be nuts. There we go. I thought those bottom charts looked small. Okay, still don't know why these... There we go. How did that happen? Boom. All my charts were like squished together on the bottom of monitor 1. I wonder why. Huh. I think it was me screwing around last night. Man, that's why when I'm tired and trading, and I start moving stuff around, it's crazy when I wake up and it, like, you know, it auto saves and I'm like, what was I doing? Yeah, your SPY put. But did you live trade those SPY calls, Ryan? You cut your loss at VWAP though, right? Or the VWAP break. Down 16. It's alright. Part of the most important part to me in trading. Okay, good job. Perfect, dude. Boom, there you go. See, that's good that you already know like all the other stuff about trading, because like a lot of new people will just hold those forever, or they'll bag hold, or they'll start adding to it. And that's the worst thing you could do, as you well know. I think the biggest challenge is knowing when to cut a loss. I truly believe that if anyone can figure that out, they'll be successful. It's weird, but I personally think that is the most important thing, is knowing when to let a winner run and knowing when to cut a loss. That to me is the most important thing, like the most, hands down. If somebody asked me, that's what I would put as a quote. Exactly, that's what I knew you weren't new, because I remember in PDT, but I know it's different, so I don't want you to like change your... Because you already know all these things, right? So that's good, and that's what I'm saying. Most new people, they don't know that, or they just don't want to listen to it. But the fact that you know that is awesome. It's just, remember, keep applying. It's keep applying those same things. Yeah, we'll change that, man. I promise. You're new into our group, and I understand that. But you'll. I promise, if you just go slow, and I would sim trade more than anything. I honestly, do not be offended by this. I would not even, if you were a student right now, I wouldn't be telling you, I would not allow you to be anything but paper trading for a while. What? Amazon puts for Friday, bought at 20. What did you buy? Damn. I don't know, Willie. Did anybody play that? Curious, actually. I think anybody's probably scared to go long. I mean, the bounce plays would have been great, but... It was weird. I think McDonald's hears me. Every time I say something about McDonald's stock, the little app thing pops up like, "Are you hungry?" Oh, nice. So you did take it. Right on. And Ryan, I don't know if you've had time, but you really should go to our the YouTube page, and under like educational videos, Darth has some videos on spreads. You should really watch those and take notes. And I mean, like, literally, because you'll hear me constantly telling everybody. I honestly think, especially to grow a small account, it is the best thing to do is to learn to play spreads. They are the best way to consistently grow accounts because you're risking way less. And it seems like you're getting less of a reward, but believe me, you will not. It is the same thing. Just because people think they're going to get unlimited gains, it's not true. If you set a spread up correctly, you're going to be risking way less, and you're going to literally get the exact same amount in profit. I promise you. Well, if you're on the stream, just go to the main page. Just go to the main page, and then there's there'll be different like sections for the videos. There's only a few videos up right now, and there's a ton of market outlook and a ton of live stream videos, but there should be a thing that'll say educational or whatever, and then there is a couple under that. So literally just click on like our icon name or whatever you do, just like any other YouTube page. And I think they're not too long. I don't remember how long they are. Got it? Okay, cool. Yeah, just when you get a chance later today or something, just do that. And because I'll probably be, I'll be streaming. I won't be streaming all day. I'll be on all day, but I'll probably cut the stream off in a little bit. But we'll still be on here, and then I'll come back on this afternoon. I do that sometimes, and then. But with the education stuff, maybe watch those and kind of think about it, and definitely paper trade those because you got to get used to the mechanics alone. But I'm telling you, spreads are the best way to grow an account. It's underappreciated in my opinion, and especially with like any of the names that we trade, anything we've talked about on here, they're liquid enough that they're always going to be available. The problem is sometimes getting out of more complicated things. Like butterflies sometimes are weird because depending on where it's at, sometimes it's hard to get in and out of them. But spreads, they're still a very simple technically, so they're pretty easy to get in and out of. Yeah, not condors and butterflies. I'm talking about those saying that. No, I'm talking about spreads. I'm talking about call spreads, debit spreads, credit spreads, in and out spreads. And then there's a bunch. There's calendar spreads, back ratio spreads. But in the videos, he talks about like the basic just call spreads and debit spreads and credit spreads. Yeah. The most basic spreads you can. It's basically the same thing. You buy one strike and you sell the other one, or you sell one and you buy the other. Okay, it'll make the video explains it a lot better. I mean, that's basically I just told you. It's exactly what it is. But it's important to learn the mechanics and then use them, and I use them a lot, especially for like you can play higher price things. You could play Boeing and SPX and all those with spreads because it makes them way cheaper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once you know how to do regular spreads, that's all those other ones are. We even have one that we call like an Aries vulture, and it's a golden vulture, but that's all it is a broken leg butterfly, which essentially is like a heavy leaning spread one way and a spread the other way. That's all they are. They just give them cute little names to confuse people, I think. Yeah, and like for instance, I don't know if you were on there, but Darth had pointed this out, and it was a good thing to point out because like I forget sometimes to mention things like this. It sounds complicated. It's not at all. It's literally complicated as saying you're buying a call, you're buying a spread. Well, then you're just selling another one to get some of that money back. That's all it is. It does seem complicated at first, but I promise you it's super basic. So like last week I was trying to get a butterfly in an earnings play and I could not get filled. And Darth had mentioned, and it's something I always forget to tell people, is even though like most of the time I'll set up the butterfly or the condor directly as a position, you could actually set up two different positions that essentially make it a butterfly. So instead of buying one, selling two, and buying one, you could actually buy one, sell one, buy one, sell one. So you're making two spreads. So two different positions, two spreads actually equal a butterfly or a condor. And I know it sounds complicated, but I promise after you watch that video, that'll immediately make sense. And he explains it very well with some examples and all that. So yeah, it's higher low. It's starting to make a little bit, but it'll need to make higher high here. And I don't think we're gonna. I think we're gonna be trapped in this box probably most of the day. which is crazy that we went right into the volatility box, basically. The second volatility box. The first one is brutal down below. We were in that thing for months. Getting some decent ticks, though. Hey, I don't think it made noise that time. I turned off the I found the thing finally in Thinkorswim where you could turn off the alert sound when it dings. I hope it went off. I hope nobody heard it, because it annoys the crap out of me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be trapped in this volatility box, and I think we'll go lower overnight, and then we'll start to move back up probably Wednesday, Thursday maybe. I don't know. It depends on how much news comes out and what news comes out, especially with Italy. I mean, and Iran. That's yeah, gnarly. South Korea's news has been kind of coming, so it's kind of like we saw that last week coming, and it just, yeah. That's hilarious. That's funny. We both finally found it. It was driving me nuts, dude. Especially when I was like in the middle of something and then it dings so loud. Oh, you did hear it? Damn it. That doesn't make sense. What the hell? That's weird. Did it not save it? Now I have to go all the way back and figure that out. Oh, I know. Actually, it's easy because now I know where it's at. It's gonna make me mad. Let's see. Notifications. Yeah, it didn't save it. TOS announcement alert is triggered. Wait, no what? Yeah, it says the notification for TOS announcements is disabled. Why did I hear it? What the heck? That's gonna make me mad. Why did it go off? Yet I tried to turn it. Man, these ticks are coming in decently strong for the middle of the morning here. 340. I mean, these are decent. And you guys can see we're continuing to get a rise on the ad decline here, right? So we hit that low of 2308 right here about 1002-ish, 1003. And I mean, this is not significant, but it's rising. I mean, it is slightly rising. However, breadth continues to make lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. So yeah, but we're getting decent ticks. I mean, these are decent especially for this part of the morning. I mean, this is pretty interesting to see after. I mean, we're already past an hour, but it's, I think they're going to keep trying to buy this up. But I think, again, we're going to, just like pre-market, we're going to be probably trapped in this box. So I wouldn't be surprised up and then down. You know what I mean? They're going to be fighting hard, but. No, you were right, Zarkon. It was mine, I'm sure. But it's pissing me off because, look, I've got it. Here, look. See, it's turned off. Why the hell did it go off? Oh, I wonder if because... Chat messages? No. Account update? I don't understand. I'm spending way too much time talking about this, but I'm really angry about it. Nice. DT playing some Disney calls for 3-6. That's good. You got some, I mean, that's, that's next week, right? Yeah. It should be all right. It's probably because they got all that crap about the whole Queen Elsa thing from the last Frozen movie, and like people were all like cheering it all about it, and then like they like were like, oh no, it's not like that. And me and the kids went to the movie. Like it's bullshit. There was no mention of anything. It's just it's one of those Disney ones where it's like she don't need no man, but then her little sister like has her little dopey boyfriend. Who actually, we love those movies in my house. My kids love them. I actually like them, but I think it'd be good. I mean, it'd be a huge, push. Yeah. In LA, right? That's funny. I'd say more the Northwest, dude. Trust me. out here it's not as bad, but any farther west and it's yeah. That's hilarious. Well, what the hell? I don't understand why it's on. Whoa. Did you even get any sleep, man? You were up late with us too, I think, weren't you? Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were God, I thought you were up. I mean, I guess you were up kind of late, but yeah, because like I swear you were on here and there. Yeah, okay, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, what? Yes, you were. Like, you were talking to all of us. Which wasn't. I mean, it was. It's crazy because you get like so excited that first like drop, on the futures drop, and then it's like I mean, it's crazy when I look back at like the 1 minute. It looks pretty gnarly. But like, yeah, I mean, until this morning, and then it was like it was pretty much sideways all night, and then right as pre-market opened up, everything just started dropping like crazy. And it was cool because you could see it like in stages. Like it was like a perfect example to show, and especially this pre-market when I showed this morning, because it's like you can see right when it opened. Here, I'll show you guys again for those that weren't on. Well, here, let's back up because it doesn't really matter. There we go. Yeah, so the initial drop out of the gate, right? Pretty much sideways all night. And then look at that. Boom, on the dot, like right as we go into first pre-market trading where a lot of the big boys start buying, and it just drops, right? And then it kind of chopped around, and this is right where the second pre-market opens. Boom, just drops right into open. It's just funny how like precise that really was this morning. Let's keep it right. I want to see a little bit of pre-market still. Yeah, we'll stay in there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should back up a little bit. Yeah, I want to see this because I want to see these levels for a little bit today. I could draw them in, but I don't really care that much. But I want to be able to see them a little bit for this morning because that's what they're still playing on. Yeah, the spreads were insane, dude. They were all over the place. I was talking about that with VIX and SPX positions I had this morning. So I set them. And that's what I was telling the guy. So I set them as high as I could, and I got them actually. I sold them, but I was talking about buying anything. The spreads were so far apart is that go closer to the bid, and you probably could have got filled. Yeah, take two worked out perfectly for what Dar said. I hope anybody listened. I haven't seen anybody mention it though. I'm watching it still right now on the other chart. here, I'll bring it up. It's oh, here, let me back out. Yeah, and it's still sinking. What's it down now? Almost, yeah, 2.4%. On the 2 minute, I think it looks really good too. And this one, Darth went over on the Outlook video. Yeah, but I mean, you're exactly what you said. It's exactly followed it. I mean, and the perfect example, even from like our from like what we call like the Aries strategy, like so it, I mean it. The 30 MA right here and upper Celt, it rejected those and then pushed down, and now it's breaking through middle Celt on the 4 hours. So that, I mean, this thing you could easily see this thing down at 110, especially on the 4 hour here. On the daily, it is still holding up right now. This is the lower Celt, but if it breaks that, then I would guarantee to see this 110 as a decent, or well, 110 like 110.67 as a price target if it breaks this. So you can see on the weekly it's getting close to the I think that's the wait, oh, that's all screwed up. I'll have to fix that. But yeah, on the daily it's right there, just finding support right now on the lower Celt. Breaks through this, it's already broken the middle Celt on the 4 hour. There's no way, I mean, I easily could see this coming down here. So no. And then he had used it on the fib retracements, and it was like, I mean, yeah, go watch the Outlook video if you guys haven't watched. He puts them out every night, and I mean, they're very, very well done videos. Oh, right on. Yeah. DT, stop posting that thing. It makes me so sick every time I see it. It's so gross. It's like the worst meme ever created. Or not meme, GIF, whatever. Is that why you guys always posted? I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what you guys were doing. That's hilarious. That's terrible, man. God. I remember because we were talking about the Burger King thing using the no preservatives and all. They were going all natural or whatever now, which is kind of gross. I think what was in it before, but I think we all know it's just preservatives. Yeah, McDonald's doesn't do anything. I've seen that where they took that burger that was sitting in the case, and it was there for like years before it started to do it. That's just so wrong. And I know it from for a fact because my kids have dropped like pieces of their cheeseburger from their Happy Meals before in the truck, and then like I'd find it like a month later, and it was like perfect looking, and I was just like, what the hell? Like that bothers me a lot. Look at these FANG stocks. So Facebook continuing to just kind of slowly fade down. It is down 4.46%. Apple down 4.24%. Amazon down 4.39%. So it is trying to get to that 2,000 there. Netflix still down 2.84%. Google down 4.07%. and Microsoft down 3.45%. So yeah, Netflix still holding up the strongest, but the rest of these down. I mean, just big down day. I mean, over 4%, almost all of these. That's crazy. Shopify was not able to hold up. It found massive resistance on that 30 MA on the 4-hour here, so it pushed down and then continued to keep falling, and it broke through lower Celt. That is not good. They are down almost 6% now, once again, so it's pushing down again. Activision still holding up pretty strong, pretty big resistance though here on that middle Celt. Nvidia didn't quite get up to that middle Celt, but yeah, and Tesla did think it was going to keep pushing, but nope, it's starting to fall back down, and so it's down 57.45, which is 6.38%. And Disney starting to fall apart pretty strong here, and McDonald's actually holding up very strong, and AMD coming off a little bit off of that push up there, so, and Qualcomm backing off, so everything is actually backing quite a ways off here, so not quite what the bulls were probably wanting to push up for, and this is what we were saying most likely to happen was push up out of the gate and then fade back off and chop around, which it's doing, and I expect this to probably continue to fall down here, and definitely probably see that into tonight. And I stand by what I've been saying, though, you guys, and I'm sure Alex would agree that, yes, it's going to be a few days of this, but this is not the downturn. I'll tell you right now. I put my word on it. This is not the downturn yet. That could change in a few days if things got completely spiraled out of control, but I still think we go to over 3,500 easily. I do. I do think it's not that far away. I know it seems crazy on a day like today, but I will stand by that for a while at least. I think we'll see it not too far from here, but I don't know how far over we'll get. I'm just saying that I definitely see us easily testing that. But on a day like today, it's easy to lose sight of those kind of things. So just do not think that it's going to happen tomorrow or this week. Yep. Yeah, and Darth had talked about this also in the Outlook. And I think I mentioned it. Did I talk about it last night? I think I did say something about it last night, but it was like in the middle of the night, and there was so much messaging going on in the chat. I'm sure it got lost, but I wonder how many more companies will come in this week with quarter two price changes and target downgrades. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm surprised that it's kind of like they left Apple and Coca-Cola just out to hang there by themselves, but I think we'll see a lot more of those coming up here soon. They have to. It's gone on for too long. I mean, supply chains are going to just be super, super tough right now. Spy target. Okay, so on the YouTube, Zarkon said spy put target 3220. I guess depends on your expiration. Are you looking at that for today or this week? I mean, it could accelerate into the end of the day, but it's like 24, 23 points. This week, okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we continue to drop overnight. Again, I mean, obviously they're going to be fighting for life, but I don't think there's much they can do. I mean, so many people just around the world will be panic selling as they can, and through the night, probably depending. Okay, say the news doesn't come back in crazy, like stay right where we're at. I think then we'll start to push up probably Wednesday, Thursday into the end of the week. They'll try to save it at least, especially market makers. Yeah, that's not bad. Especially with all the, I mean, everything is so over. The premium is so high. I mean, my SPX puts are still up at like 1,400, 26, 2,600%, 2,700%. And they've dropped significantly, but still they're just massively increased. But IV's also come down really strong. It was up at 19% there for a second. It's down at 15.87 on the SPX, and that's really high. Most of the time it's like 5-6%. So yeah, so getting that premium, that's not a bad price for that. And the thing is, if it drops again, especially on accelerated volume, then yeah, that's gonna skyrocket. I know what I wanted to look at real quick was the futures map. I forgot. So the VIX actually increasing slightly with this down drop again, back up over 30%. So it's 34% now. So yeah, holding up there pretty strong, which is why those puts are probably coming back to life. And yeah, you can see the 10 years and the bonds bidding back up here now. But gold actually continuing to sell off just slightly. I mean, not really. It's still up 27.40, but but it was up way high. So yeah, coming down a little bit here with price. But the big thing I like to watch is the VVIX, the VIX bonds in 10 years, because that's more of a instead of just watching the VIX, which I think is an outdated indicator. It's nice to include those all of these. That's why I have them on this page. This page is extremely important for me, and honestly should not be taken with a grain of salt type of thing. No, not in SPCE. It did dip under 30, but then they bought it right back up. I'd actually played it on the way up. I haven't decided to go back the other way yet. We will probably be looking at that a lot. It held up pretty decent. I was actually impressed that it pushed back up over 30. Whoa, I can't type. I'm trying to like talk. Jeez. Yeah, I was wondering where Zarkon had been forever. Glad he's coming back. Oh my God, Darth, what? That's awesome. Well, that's crazy. The ADS-PD is negative 467. I haven't seen it that low in a long, long time. That is crazy to see. Yes, yes. PDT rules apply for everything, unless you're playing in cash or over the margin requirement. And obviously, futures have no PDT rules that apply. I think PDT thing will probably be the next thing to go in trading. I assume with most of these companies having to have free trading now, I really truly think we'll see that disappear. I think so. I think it's a matter of time. I'm surprised they haven't even had anything yet, especially after. I think what'll happen is like when their profits start to diminish more and more, and it comes down, especially in, like, well, now it's hard because they're getting absorbed, right? Like Thinkorswim and stuff. But I think that's definitely something. It's an outdated thing. It was put into place for very specific and important reasons, and I think it did help actually at the time. But it's an old time thing. It's something that does not really hold true anymore. With the way that information is so fast now, and we have these amazing platforms, and we have access to information and data like we've never had before. The regular retail trader, I mean, any one of you guys, if you guys had something like this just even 20 years ago, you would have been a millionaire in a week because of how incredible the speed is and the data that's at your fingertips. And so it's an outdated safety measure, and I truly, truly think that it will be the next big thing to go from trading. I think there might be something that they'll still set up in sort of a way to like protect, but I think that will be gone. Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy. We were talking about that. Was it last week, I think, or the week before? But yeah, man, crazy. It's kind of cool to see like a little bit more talk about it, but I think it's one of those things where like trying to get people just even like interested at all, and things like Robinhood have helped at least get people like jumped on it. I know a lot of people who started because of Robinhood who now are very, very successful traders and investors. Things like that. What is it called? Can't think of the name right now. The thing where you can buy like partial shares, and then there's the ones that like automatically invest your change. Like that's awesome. Like that gets people at least thinking about it. See, that's weird. Like Reuters says seventh person because I have the thing that says 11. Like what Spartacus just posted, you guys. I literally have a thing that has 11 people dying there, and then Iran, like they're already saying now it's way over what they're saying because there's like an entire village. Yeah, and those antivirals are all up this morning. Some of those penny stocks, and some of them have nothing to do with it. Some of them are like flu vaccines, but they're antiviral. So just how the market works. And I'm sure that's probably a huge problem, is knowing how many numbers are here. And I mean, I know that everybody thinks China's just lying all the time, which they mostly are, but I do give them the benefit of the doubt that this is probably extremely hard to know exactly the numbers. And from distance for that's hilarious. I wonder how many people know what that is. Creepy. I guess it'll work. Man, 30-year T-bond yields down 4.95%. That is crazy on the 1 year. Wow. Just a year ago. That's crazy. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. All these stuff. It's weird to see things like that down. Yeah, I get it. That's what I was just talking about. Yep. Shotgun to the face. What? Whoa. Reminded me of Zombieland. I love those movies. I guess there's two of them, but still.
The coronavirus outbreak in South Korea is affecting how the central bank will deliver its rate decision this week. The bank will email and text message registered reporters when it announces the decision. It will not hand out any paper copies. Let's go to the West Coast. Yahoo Finance's Melanie Hom has the latest. I guess, they're having to get creative as they have to be careful around this.
Yes, and of course, the actual press conference that normally streams live, just like here in the U.S. with Fed Chair Powell. In Korea's case, this will be the first time ever that they're live streaming it on both YouTube and Facebook. The governor, Lee Choo-young, apparently held an emergency meeting today, according to the bank, discussing the mechanics and the logistics of this being almost a necessity at this point, given the fact that South Korea is on the highest alert status right now in regards to the coronavirus. I also want to point out that the key industries in South Korea, whether that's retail, electronics, microchip processors, those have all been at a standstill over the last month. We focus a lot about China, but even looking at Samsung Electronics, the biggest manufacturer there and the biggest tech company there.
Yeah, bio's expensive, man. I essentially the 2 days I went into them was like the only. I mean, I can't believe because I looked all around historically. It's like extremely expensive for whatever reason. I think because it's like still a bio stock, like but it's just so much more expensive. So it's just crazy. It's the only thing I can think of. But their IV is always up high. I like on historical volatility. It's like I've never seen it low. It's weird. Has to have something to do with it, I'm sure. I think most bio stocks are like that. Even as they gain price, it doesn't really matter. It's like their implied volatility still stays super extended. So getting up to hour two here. The SPX still has a $20 expected move, so that'll be something to continue to keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and look around before I get off. Look at the futures map here. So the VIX is still holding up here at 22.55, which is 32% up. Gold coming off, still selling off just a little bit, but still up 1.46, 1.47%. 10 years and bonds are kind of back and forth, but they are still quite elevated as the market is pushing down as we speak just right now. But do keep an eye on that stuff if you guys are watching this here this morning. In the FANG stocks, Facebook continuing to kind of fade out here. It's bidding up just a little bit, but they all are right now. But it's kind of just a little bit of selling going on and then buying back up, selling. But it's selling harder, obviously. So it's still down 4.3%. Apple down just over 4%. Amazon down over 4%. It was able to get back up over that 2,000 from this morning and then kind of got close, but it's kind of, you can see how it's kind of straightening out here. So sitting around 2010.51 right now. Netflix down about 2.9%. Google down 3.72%, and Microsoft down 3.3%. So still quite heavy. Volume is obviously. You can see on Netflix the sell volume started to pick up a little bit there, so that is kind of interesting to see on Netflix. Definitely possible intraday trade there. Momentum-wise, Boeing is kind of in no man's land here, but is right in the middle of where it had been down and then bought back up, but it's still down 3.4%. Roku down 5.86%. Activision down just only 50 cents at 0.8%. Still getting hung up here on resistance on that middle Celt. Shopify is bidding back up over that lower Celt once again, so that's good to see there by Shopify if they can hold on to that today. Nvidia just still finding resistance on that lower price level of 280.67. And Tesla coming down off of its push up this morning, so it's still down 6.39%. Canadian, what? Chinese stocks. BABA is down 3.37%. BTD down just a little bit more, down at 3.6%. AMD continuing to bid up here, but it is still down 6.38%. Qualcomm down 3.86% at 83.67. Disney starting to sell off once again. It is down now over 5%. And McDonald's still finding resistance there on that 30 MA. It really needs to get over that and the middle Celt to hold on to this. Obviously, if it still holds up at least above that lower Celt, there could be a trade for later into this week. So that's something to definitely keep your eyes on, guys. Watch for sudden spikes in volume. Anything you're playing. If you're in something intraday, make sure you're cutting your losses quickly. Don't hold on to them, as they will possibly accelerate. I do think if we don't see an accelerated in selling into the afternoon, I don't think it would be super smart to hold on to anything too much as far as like size of positions going long, especially. Definitely, if you are playing anything, hedge both directions. So if you do have more puts, we'll say, then definitely I would hedge with at least something long. Obviously, things like the VIX, it's so overly extended that I would not, even if it was to continue to go up, you're going to be paying a lot for premium. It's just about at a place where I'd want to start shorting it, but not yet. I definitely want to watch to see what we have. Overnight, I think we continue to sell off a little bit. It's going to be most interesting to watch what happens with China. Not just China, but with all of Asia, especially South Korea with all their issues, and Japan has just had a horrible last couple weeks. So I don't really see them pushing up. So that's going to drag our futures down. So just something to keep an eye on, guys. I will definitely be back on this afternoon, and we will go over some trades, look at some stuff for tomorrow. So good job. We're just finishing hour 2. So just be careful. Volume's going to drive up a little bit here. So things are going to get kind of a little bit more choppy than they are, but I guarantee we're going to be kind of stuck in this volatility box most of the day, if we're not having accelerated sell-off towards the end of the day, but probably overnight. So be careful, take it easy, and I'll still be on Discord, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.